3, 2, 1. Hello everyone. Yes, I made it. I know we'll talk about that in just a second. Welcome to all those joining. If you are new around here, welcome. My name's Ed. Welcome to Ed Talk TV, Conversations Worth Having. So glad you guys are here and you're popping on, and this is awesome. So real quick, I hope that you'll share this out because there were some tech issues. Hey Cheryl, hey Erica, hey Vicky, hey Whitney, which is really weird. I was going live like 3 times and it was all by myself. So be sure to share this out. And how funny is this? This is the one time that I actually went over to Twitter and said, oh, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and share this out on my Twitter feed as well, just to see who shows up. So bear with me for a second while I get my link to copy here, because I want to put that out there so that way people actually have it. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you're new around here, definitely be sure to say hello, even if you're watching the replay, because here's the thing. That still counts in terms of you engaging not only with me, but other people that show up here live. And so you'll want to make sure that you do that, because if you don't comment, you're actually missing out on opportunities, not just with me, but with fellow viewers, watchers. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this there and put in, here's today's episode. See, this is like the stuff that you have to do like spontaneously right on it, and it sucks because this is not how I want to run the show, but this is how we go. So, hey Mindy, hey Vicky, hey Paula, everyone's tuning in. I love it. Okay, so I just shared that out, and I'm going to also send a tweet because the last tweet didn't work because we had to switch gears. Tanya, I love it. Thank you so much, especially with today being so crazy, at least right now. Thank you for putting that. I love it. Tuning in from Georgia. Nice. I love it. Here is today's episode. So you guys are doing an awesome job. Did you guys have a good weekend? Hello from across the pond, Chrissy. I love it. How was everyone's weekend? I will say that, see, I had this great opener, and I knew a lot of you guys were going to be really mad at me because we have amazing weather today in Northern California. Literally, it was tank tops, shorts, flip-flops, hanging out in the backyard doing work. I know you guys are all having bad weather. I'm just trying to send the sunshine your way, but don't send the bad weather this way, okay? We'll just push it somewhere else. So today, what we're going to get into is the new Facebook feature that is basically a secret that I'm going to share with only you, just you, about content creation and how it can help you spark your ideas and get some of that content built for you. So we're going to talk about that here in a second. But first, we got to get through a couple other things. So let me go ahead and pop up on the screen here. Well, actually, I'm going to drop it in the comments. For those who are new around here, if you want to catch up on past episodes, you can go to edtalktv.com. Not right now, but you can do it later. I'm going to drop in the comment here. And then I'm also popping in the comments the official hashtag, as well as our Check with Ed monthly group, which is tech support, business support, private tutorials, things like that. But what's I wanted to let you guys know is tomorrow, those of you who are in the group or thinking about being in the group, tomorrow I'm actually going to be dropping a really good resource exclusively in the group tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. It will be a great resource for your business needs and being able to save money in different areas. So keep an eye out for that. So I just did that, and I need to pop into the comments. Are you guys taking notes of how you can do your lives like this and how you want to have multiple devices? Because here's the thing. When I'm on my computer, which is what we're doing right now, because I can pop comments onto the screen just like that, when I'm using the computer and it works, then I can go onto my phone and I can use Facebook, the actual Facebook app, to go ahead and pin my comment so that it shows up easier for you guys. So that's kind of, behind the scenes there. So thank you, Chrissy. Yeah, the group is so much fun. And so Today, we're going to talk about the new Facebook feature, but before we get into that, we want to talk about some random news. And before we get into that, if you're new around here, just to let you know, this is a talk show about business, tech, and the user experience. You can become a guest. It's free. All you have to do is go to edtalktv.com later and fill out the guest request, and then you can be a guest here on the show and share your knowledge. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. None of that. It's good. It's just you and me hanging out, having a conversation about what you know and getting yourself out there, because that's step one, right? Is just starting, just getting out there. So that's what we provide here on the show. So now, when we talk about, I was just looking at the Facebook, when we talk about random news today, we're going to dive into some business travel. So how many of you would love to sit in business class when traveling? You want to go on a long flight, we'll say it's more than 5 hours, and you have the option to sit in business class. How many of you, raise your hand, let me know, how many of you would sit in that business class? Let me know in the comments, even if you're watching the replay. And then I want to know, how much would you pay to be in the business class? And I'll see if anybody picks up on where I'm going with this, with just those two questions. Let me check the comments here. Not sure if I have time for another group. I know, Vicky, I know. So the way I run my group is actually not just, it's not where you have to be active and constantly in there all the time. It's more where you just get a little bit more of me time. It's not, necessarily a one-on-one coaching call or anything like that, but inside the group, it's where I drop valuable resources that I have and that I use that I may not be sharing anywhere else. And so that's the main thing. It's like a resource hub for you. And then I also kind of go behind the scenes. And then there's also access to my private tutorials around WordPress and Facebook. So that's kind of the idea behind it and where it is. Yes, embrace the silence. I love that. Yes, so you guys would. Oh, yes, you guys would be in business class. Now, let me ask you, how much would you pay to sit in a business class? And what do you think that entails? Are we talking about a little more leg room? Are we talking about having our own, our own row to ourselves? Are we talking about bottles popping and we have nonstop champagne flowing? Tell me a little bit more about what you would want in your business class and how much it would cost. How did you not know? I know, right? How did you not know there was a group? Yes, there's the link. You can check it out later. Check with Ed monthly. I know. I have to talk about it more. I know. You guys know how I am when I'm trying not to I don't like being salesy. So I try not to say things, too much. Because sometimes I feel like they're too much, just like you, when you're creating a product or a service, you doubt yourself and you think, oh, am I talking about it too much? I don't want it to come off too much this way or that way. So, you always have to find different ways to just say it. And that's why you have to remember, whenever you create something, you can't just say, okay, I created it and be done. You constantly have to bring it into the conversation, and you constantly have to have that follow you, because people won't catch it the first, second, or third time. Usually it's 7 times on average before somebody will actually take the next step with you. So just keep that in mind. A whole row to yourself or no middle seat. Yeah, Erica, okay, cool. I would want the plane to myself. Chrissy, that is called a private jet, and once you do that, you will definitely be here hanging out with us back to back on the show. You can even go to Mickey's show. Mickey with Mondays is going to be happening today. So yeah, definitely. I love it. This is Aaron. Oh yeah, Aaron, thank you. Good job, Aaron. I'm glad that you pointed that out for those who are regulars and who are trying to figure out, who is this respectful connection? It's our friend Aaron. And for those who are new, she took her business page and it doesn't have her name in it, which is fine, but she made sure that you knew who she was by adding her name to it. So that's a tip that you can do. We've covered that here on the show before, so be sure to do that. Disguised as my business page. I love it. It's awesome. No, and that's what you guys want to do, is try to interact and engage with other people in other audiences with your business page. Why? Because that's what drives the engagement onto your page later, because people are going to say, oh, I wonder what Aaron's up to with this respectful connection. Let me click. Boom. Now I'm over here, right? So let's talk about the random news now that I've kind of gotten the wheels spinning and asked you a couple questions. One, out of the two questions I asked, the second one I was curious if anybody was going to pose a follow-up question asking me, because I said, what price would you put on being in business class? And I was surprised nobody asked this. You probably were thinking this, but nobody asked this, that you would want to know, well, it would depend. What do I get in business class, right? Like, you could say, oh, $500 to sit in business class, but what does that get you? Maybe a teeny bit of legroom, maybe that middle row taken out, like whatever, right? So I like to like feed those little questions and tips there. So let's talk about this new jet. Well, it's not jet, but this new, I'm going to probably butcher this, so I'm sorry if anybody's watching this that is into the air. I'm just going to say it. We're just going to go with it. Qatar Airways, I probably totally butchered that, I'm sorry. But they have the world's best business class airline. And it debuted here in the US in December. And there was this story that a reporter got to go on a trip recently to actually explore it and basically do a story on it, right? So lucky them, they got to go over and check it out. Now, what's interesting about it is, and I'm going to flip my screen here so that way you guys can see what I'm talking about. So you have some extra leg room. It's called, a suite because you get a little disco ball show, but low, dim, so that way it's easy. It's not too crazy on the eyes. You get this. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I can see a whole new addition to the Mile High Club going on here. Like, I'm just going to say it and let's be honest. I mean, you all know that that's what we're thinking the minute you see back-to-back seats reclining in a private suite in the air. Like, that's just what's going to happen. But notice they have the big TVs here, which is nice. We'll get another view of that here in a second. But look what's interesting is it's kind of in the middle, and there's basically kind of like a what you would call a cubicle if you were at a 9-to-5, things like that. And then you have the flight. She got drinks, and they checked in on her every 15 to 20 minutes, which is cool. They had a whole spread. It was a 3-course meal with snacks. They really took care of her. The bathroom, look at that. You have a bathroom that you can really stand in with what looks like marble, countertops there. Where she put it here, unlabeled. So the hand soaps and sanitizers were unlabeled. Anybody curious why they were unlabeled? I can mention that in a second. But they were unlabeled. Now look at the TV. How nice is that? Now, what was interesting, though, is that the reporter had said that she was disappointed in the in-flight entertainment because it was limited, which is very interesting because you would think that this would be the first thing that you would upgrade. I think it's pronounced Qatar. Oh, and I only know that because my husband used to work for Texas. Oh, okay, so Qatar Airways. That's so much easier to say. Well, we'll go with Qatar Airways. Thank you, Erica. I appreciate it. Jess, are those workstations on a plane? Yeah, pretty much. You are basically able to get your own suite in this business class, which is crazy. Yeah, exactly, Mindy, right? You want more privacy, especially because wait until we talk about how much it costs. And costs less if unlabeled. Oh, Mindy, that is a great point. I didn't even think about that part. She's referring to what I had mentioned here with the hand soaps and hand sanitizers being unlabeled. That's a great point to have, that it costs less. Now, where I was going with that is that it was to be more exclusive, to have that luxury feel. Less is more, when you have things that are, basically, I don't know if you would say white labeled, but basically there's just no brand on it. It's very clean, and it's like almost like their personal brand. So I don't know. That's where I was going with it. I'll take my own suite every time. Yeah, well, that will cost you, Erica, because you can't just have one of these bad boys by yourself. You have to have double occupancy. So even if you have nobody to fly with you, you can still get both of these spots. The other thing I looked at here, I was like, okay, this would be very awkward if you're here to climb over. But then I realized that there's no reason for you to climb over because these are in the middle aisle. They're not next to the windows. So it's very interesting. Again, going back to what Mindy said, it's that privacy part. You're in the middle of the plane and everyone's on both sides. It could be cheap, but you'll think it's luxury. I love it, Mindy. That's going back to the unlabeled hand sanitizers and soaps. Yeah, totally. Now you guys can all go get unlabeled products and make it sound really fancy and exclusive. Save some money and go do that. But check this out. Now, how much, you might have saw a price, but how much, before I go to it, how much do you think it would cost for something like this to be on this business suite travel? Any guesses, even if you're watching the replay, any guesses that you want to share for this? Remember, you're in the middle aisle there. You get checked in every 15, 20 minutes. You're getting drinks. You have somewhat of flight entertainment. You're able to look happy and connect with your neighbors, which is awesome in 5F because you're in 4G. Oh, nice. Okay. We're close. 1,100. We got a bid for 1,100. Can we go any higher? Can we go any lower? Should we stick in the middle? Anywhere. So as those are pouring on, I missed where the plane was flying to. The plane, you missed it because I didn't say it, because I didn't want to butcher something else. Let's see, where was it flying to? Try not to give away. To Doha, I probably just totally, you guys, that's not my thing. Like I will mess up some grammar. So that's why I love live video. 5,000 a flight, at least maybe 10,000. 2,500, 2,000. Well, how about this? How about 7,000? It could cost as much as 7,000. Now you tell me, are you guys trying to get up in this business class or what? Because I will tell you, for $7,000, I will gladly keep that money and fly regular first class maybe. I don't know. I've never been in first class, so I don't know how much regular first class costs. I'm all about the coach in the back. But, I maybe will pay a little bit more than the coach price to be a little bit more comfortable, but I'm not paying $7,000 to be up in the air with all of that going on. Like that's just crazy. Keep it, right? Extra, too much for my blood. Exactly. Yeah. I'm glad that we're all in agreement. Like for $7,000, I feel like we could just all pool our money together and get a private jet for the week or maybe even a month. Probably not for a month. It's probably like a day for 7,000. But you know what I'm saying? Like we could just pool our money together and be like, okay, Chrissy, we're coming over. So prepare the airway. Like tell us where we need to fly into. And then when you're ready, you can come back over here across the pond and we'll be good. So that's your random news, business. But here's the thing. When you think about that though, and you go through those features and you kind of think about it, you have to ask yourself, like, who are they catering to? Well, we know it's business. And then we know, like, what they think business people want, right? The luxury of just laying out. They want to be able to, I guess, not really do much with entertainment because they're too busy working. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of with the reason why they have limited in-flight entertainment. But it's one of those things where you think about who your audience is, who your target market is, and then going from there, someone should set up an Uber or Lyft for airplane travel. Actually, Aaron, they do have that. I forget the name of it. Well, I think Uber actually is coming out with or has come out with as a beta for it, but there is some other company. I know there's another name out there that does it exclusively for like the rich, which, we'll hit them up. We'll do a show out of the jet. Like, come on, free publicity, right? I'll get there one day and add it to my bucket list, right, Wendy? So you have this airline that wants to cater to business, right? They want to make it super luxurious, and so then they have all these XYZs, going through the list there. But then you have to look at, okay, what's the price? Like, what are people willing to pay for that? And is it going to meet their needs, especially when they're mixed with other people? I'm guessing they're mixed with the average Joe who's sitting next to the window because everyone's in the middle aisle. It's kind of weird. Now, here's what I would have done, of course, because Ed always makes it better, right? If you're going to have something exclusive like that, then I would have each private suite be a suite. So like every window or every 2 windows, you have that as like its own box unit, right? Like there's a little door that like magically slides up or sideways, it goes in or whatever you want to do. Probably roll up would be the best thing. And then you kind of go into your little pod, right? So like that's what I would think. And then you might be able to stretch the amount of money to that 7,000, right? Like, okay, I have my own little private pod. I have total privacy. I have enough leg room and stuff, almost kind of like a train car. If you've ever been at a train, I don't know, have any of you, even if you're watching the replay, have any of you guys been in a train before? I know when I was traveling in Europe, I rode a train and we had, a little nice little, I guess you'd call them a cart, but you were in this little room. Didn't sleep very well, but it's there. Fun fact, if you're traveling, always keep a roll of duct tape with you. Always. That's like one thing that you want to make sure that's in your bag. I don't care about your makeup. I don't care about your underwear, like water bottles or anything like that. Always take duct tape. It works for everything, and you never know when you're going to need it. Trust me. Trust me. So there's your extra tip there. So we are going to get into the secret that I have for you about Facebook and the new feature and being able to help you with your content creation. Cabin. Yes, Chrissy. Thank you. Cabin. There we go. So we're going to dive into that in just a second. Erica says, so my thought is those private suites are maybe first class because isn't first class and business class different? Oh, I don't know. Do we have any fancy air traveling friends here, even if you're watching the replay? That's a great question, Erica. I am all about that Southwest, and I will say Virgin. Okay, so Virgin America is probably like the highest class seating I've ever had, and that was still in coach coach. Yeah. So I couldn't tell you, but I will say that I will pay extra just to fly with Virgin because they have they treat everyone really well. So I will say that part. So I've always wanted to have a sleeper car. Oh yeah, sleeper car. That's what it's called. Yeah, in a train, just for privacy. Yeah, and so fun fact, Mindy, if you ever get that sleeper car and you have your duct tape because you remembered Ed told you to have duct tape when you're traveling, and your sleeper car doesn't have a lock on the door or it's broken, guess what? Duct tape from the door to the wall. Boom. Not from the window to the wall, but from the door to the wall. Did you get that? Yeah. So I need to adjust this lighting because it is like killing me to see that green a little bit there. So let's see if I can get this on. See if that helps a little bit. Okay, so business. Nicole flew on one of these, I believe. Oh yeah, that would be cool if she did. I couldn't remember, but I did think of her for that. It's different. Okay, cool. All right, so do you guys have any idea of what we're going to talk about for this Facebook thing? I'm just curious. Before I give you guys all the goods, I might as well just ask you first if you have any ideas of what this new Facebook feature is. Any ideas? You can throw anything out there. I'm going to move this over. Okay, cool. It's not as green as I thought. It's so weird. So I found this new feature. Well, let me just back up because this new feature has been talked about before. We actually talked about it, I believe, here on the show. But now I just got it, which is awesome. And I wanted to bring it to your attention because how many of you are struggling? Good guess, Chrissy. The cover video photo or the cover photo, but from a lot of profiles you can get your video now. No idea, good. Going live, yep, that's another good guess. So how many of you guys are using, sorry, I had to like pause for a second to collect my thoughts. Like, okay, so here's the fun thing, you guys. When you are, especially when you're live, but when you are figuring out your next step and you're in that mode and you're just like, go, go, go. I don't know about you, but for me, sometimes my brain is like 5 steps ahead and I have to like, wait, come back because I have to figure out what to say. Like, so I have to pause for a second and then pick things up. It is what it is. Like, we just go with it. Story feature, Vicky, that's a great guess. I love it. You guys are definitely showing that you know your features of Facebook, which is cool. Oh, the suspense, right, Chrissy? Rein it in. No, Erica's like, let's just get to it. I gotta go. So Facebook came out with a new feature, and I'm going to pop over to my other screen here just to show you guys. So let me get over there. So as I'm on Facebook, and this is my personal profile, and I go over here, yes, Chrissy, the to-do list. Okay, so we're gonna dive into this a little bit here because we've talked about it, I believe, here on the show. If not, I've talked about it just in general. But what I want to point out here is how many of you just knowing about the to-do list, well, I guess I should ask, do you know about this feature? And if not, we're going to talk about it. So let me ask, do you know about this feature, yes or no? And then if you do know about it already, do you see yourself using it? I'm going to look at Erica's, 12 new likes for you this week. I love it. Looked at that today. Cool, Vicky. And some of you may not have this feature out yet. It is rolling out. I just got it to my page, or I'm sorry, my personal profile today. New for Whitney. Cool. We're going to talk about this. Never heard of it. Awesome. Okay, Cheryl. Perfect. So this is good. I'm glad to bring something new for you guys. So let me browse or show you what it does once I go to my personal profile. So not until now. Okay, Mindy, awesome. You guys are making my day right now. Like, forget the good weather. I'm just excited to be bringing something new to you guys. So, yeah, exactly, right, Vicky? So you don't want people seeing your list. Exactly. So whether or not we talked about this on the show before, let me just recap real quick. So Facebook mentioned this new feature, and I'm going to show you. Here's what my post from earlier today looks like. They mentioned this new feature called the to-do list. And what's interesting about it is you can create, and we're going to do one here in just a minute, but you can create a list that you can show off to people. Now, we talked about this earlier because it's kind of creepy, right? Like you think about it and you're thinking, well, I don't want everyone to be able to see my list, and I don't want people to know like what I have to do today or tomorrow. Like, it's just weird, right? So, and I'm just going to look at the comments here and pop this on. Aaron says, from Respectful Connections, I don't know about it. My first reaction is that it's redundant. I already have task systems in place. Yes, great point, Aaron. I'm going to pop that on the screen there. Oh, good, Erica. So yeah, I'm not going crazy. We did talk about it, just mentioning it. Perfect. So here's the thing. When it comes to these lists, like I did this one this morning because I wanted to test it out and have this talk with you guys. But here's what I want to share with you. Well, I guess let me just show it to you first. So when you go to create a new post, you can scroll down, see my little bar here, to lists. So when you click on it, it will give you this. So it gives you some options. So let me walk you through these options first. You can create a list with your own title, like I did earlier, which you can see here. I said, get it done. That's my own personal writing there. Or you can go through and pick one of many, many lists. So if we did create your own list, we're just going to walk through this. See, you would still give copy some information about it. So for instance, here I put I asked a question for my audience. What are you up to this productive Monday? And then I shared my list. So I went through and started here, so you can type in whatever you want. And then, and you don't even have to actually type anything here, but it's always nice, I think, to add some copy there. You can give it a title if you want. So, testing for show. And then from here, we can add whatever we want. Testing for show. Go live. Then you add another item. And notice that it's 1, 2, 3, but then you can also switch over to the bullet points. Ask question. Oh, where'd my list go? Ask. Sorry, my computer is like, oh my goodness. Going a little slow there. Ask questions. So yeah, Vicky, exactly. Big Brother is watching you. So I will say to you, if you're going to use these lists, I say to be very, very cautious. Very, very cautious. Like, I would not, I mean, you should be doing this anyway with all of your Facebook posts, you know, because I think we get a little, and I'm sure I do it as well, we get a little too into social media and we forget about our privacy and we forget about what we're sharing. So go with caution, just like anything else, but go with caution here, because once you start putting things like real things here, it's an easy way for anybody, especially if this is public, to go in and see exactly what you need to do for the day, right? Like, go to the grocery store, go to pick up the kids, like all these things which may sound simple are red flags, because anybody can look at that. Like, I'm not trying to like be paranoid, but at the same time, you have to understand, like, people watch your social media accounts. They're trying to find out what you're doing, where you're at, all of that. Not just Facebook, but just regular people. So be cautious when you're using this. I'm telling you, but I'm also telling myself. So you can use this. I just now see I can do a poll on my page. Oh yeah, so Mindy, so yeah, that's awesome. On your page, yeah, you can do a poll. Let me just remind you guys that this is my personal profile right now. So this list option is not available, as far as I know, for business pages, at least not yet. So just want to make sure I remind you guys of that. Why would I put my personal to-do list here? Exactly. I see no advantage to doing this. Exactly. So I'm glad that you guys are seeing that, and that, yeah, you stick to Evernote, you stick to Trello, whatever project management system you're using, right? But we're gonna figure out how we can use this to our advantage here in just a minute. So let me finish showing you how you would do this. So you can also change the color of your list, you know, if you want it to stand out a little bit more. What's interesting though is that, and then if you post it, it will show up just like this. What's interesting here is that it's not a checklist. So even though they call it like a to-do list, you can't go in and click on something and check it off. Like, I'm clicking and there's nothing here, right? So for me, it's kind of a pointless feature to have. I mean, I will say, I do love organization. So being able to see a bulleted list is very nice. And I could see this being a good feature for, say, business pages. Again, this is not on a business page. This is just my personal profile. But I could totally see this being a useful feature for business pages, for listing out, like, let's say a 1, 2, 3 of how to get started with your organization, how to, get on an email list or whatever. I mean, you can do whatever you want with this. So I can see, from an organization standpoint, I can see a benefit of this, okay? So I want to say that. Can you delete them? No. So Vicky, this is all one post. And here's the fun thing, or fun fact. If I go to hit the arrow here and I hit edit post, because let's say, like, I wanted to change number 4 here. I wanted to change what this said. Well, if I go to edit post, watch what happens. It only allows me to edit the copy. It doesn't let me edit the actual list. So that's another bummer for me. We'll say discard changes, that's fine. Let me look at the comments real quick. I could see using it in a fun way. Yeah, exactly, Mindy, exactly. In a fun way, that's not, for your personal life type stuff. I mean, just making it fun, making awareness. That's why I did this one today, is just making it aware, like, hey, this was what happening, because I wanted to show it off today. Yes, good for business. You can show what you do, etc. Yeah, exactly, right, Chrissy? So those are kind of things that you want to think about. But, again, you can't edit this once it's posted. So if you wanted to change anything, you'd have to delete this. So it's a little odd there. Let me just see the comments here. Okay, perfect. When you are doing this, you can get rid of when you're still in the post editing it, you can go through and click on the X to get rid of your option, but once you push it live, it's live. Now, here's the thing, and I'm just looking at the comments. I'm curious to see how people use this. Yeah, exactly. This is what will be interesting, you guys, and that's why I bring it up, because it will be interesting to see how we all start using this feature or not. It will just depend. Now, that's how you create your own personal one. Now, let me go back and get out of here. Well, let me go to remove. Let me see if remove list will let us do that. So now, here is where I want you to start taking notes if you're not already. So if your profile, remember this is a personal profile, if your personal profile has the list option, here is where I want you to start taking notes, because this is where the secret comes out. This is where you are going to be able to get help with creating your content, right? This is where content creation comes in. Erica, I honestly don't see myself using it unless it's something fun or silly. Yes, exactly. Hey, Mickey, welcome. Of course, you are showing up right when we let the secret out of the box. You definitely will want to see the beginning later, but yes, you're just in time. Can you pin the post, the list? Vicky asks. No, at this time, it's literally just a regular post. So unfortunately, you cannot pin it. And so as a quick recap, we're on a personal profile that has a list feature built in right now. And if you don't have it, it should be coming. They've been rolling it out. But here's where I want to share the secret with you guys. When you're on this list feature, instead of going to create your own, look at what pops up here. This is content right here waiting for you. This is, and Mindy says it's not available on hers yet. Okay, cool. You can browse this list, which I'm sure will be changing based off of, different events that come up and different areas that you're at. I'm sure they're going to really start doing this. But look at, if you're trying to figure out something fun for your audience, and you're like, I don't know what to post. Let me just post something. If you have this feature built into your profile right now, your personal profile, or when you get it, come over here and just take a look at these headings. It's almost like looking at a table of contents in any book. This is what you can do. These are the chapters, right? So you can take these and then create your own post out of them. So you don't even have to use this list feature. You can just go through and look at all these crazy random things that they have here to spark ideas for yourself, right? I'm looking at Vicky's comment. I was thinking list your platform and pin it for extra advertising. Yeah, that would be cool, Vicky, right? Oh, there you go. Fun stuff. Exactly, Erica. So this is what I like about this feature, is just being able to see what they have put here and to kind of start the content creation for those of you who are looking for something different, are just needing something extra. You don't have to go anywhere. It's right here on Facebook for you. Let's see, if I hit songs I can't stop listening to. Well, if I tap on that, that's the list, and then I just create my list, right? And so you can make it a little more fun, and you don't even have to post this list again. You could just take that topic and say, forget this. I'm just going to remove this list. I'm just going to type that in here. And then you put in your bulleted list. Again, I like organization, so you're going to skip a line and then you're going to type in something. You're going to skip a line and then you're going to type in something. So, you can do it however you want, but it's one of those things, place I want to visit, yes, see, now you're getting creative. Now we're sparking that creativity, right? So again, it may not be one of those features that you personally would like to use, but it's one of those features that you can dive a little deeper to see where you can pull from it. I would not use, okay, so here's where my privacy, security, you guys got to pump the brakes when you do posts like this. I would not do posts like this. Things I miss from childhood. I wouldn't take those fun quizzes that ask you all these what street did you grow up on and all these things. Does anybody know why? Before I give you the answer, anybody know why I advise not to do things like this? Because it's a pretty big deal, and I'm sure you guys probably know why. But it's because it's an easy target. You're making yourself an easier target. People can just go to those quizzes. They can hack the quiz. They can go to your profile and see, oh, you miss, Mr. Potato Head from your childhood, and you said something that you really loved Mr. Potato Head, and that just turns out to be your password. Exactly, Cheryl. Yes. So that's what you have to really understand, because we give away a lot, and myself included. We give away a lot of personal information, from our Facebook posts to our Facebook stories to our Instagram posts to our Instagram stories. I mean, whatever social media posts we're doing, we're giving away a lot of information usually. So keep that in your mind and just be aware. Just be aware of it. Yeah, exactly. Right, Mickey? Some of those quizzes look so much fun, and I have to remind myself, I just can't. I can't justify going in and getting lost in those quizzes because I don't want anything bad to come from them. But, a lot of these things are just fun. If it's a Friday and you don't know what to ask your audience, but if you look at this, you're like, oh, that's it. What plans do I have for the weekend? You don't have to tell your plans. You can just say, what are you doing this weekend? What's one thing that you're doing this weekend? You can share a quote that inspires you and add an image or add a video if you can. Friends who can always make me laugh. Well, obviously Ed is number one on that list, but you want to give credit to some other people as well and help get some laughs besides here. Things I say all the time, obviously hashtag EdTalkTV is the best. But you want to also branch out and say other things as well. Places I want to visit. Well, we all know Northern California because of the sun right now. Across the pond. My biggest pet peeves are not formatting and not getting back to somebody quickly. That's probably some big pet peeves. So there's just different things. Items I never leave home without, okay, that's a red flag right there. But you have to draw the line for you and your audience and where you're going with that. I'm super careful after I had a virtual stalker. Yeah, Chrissy. That's an interesting, I'm curious, and you guys don't have to say it, but I'm curious how many of you have had close encounters with virtual stalkers. How many of you felt like you've come close to, or maybe you've been hacked or have come close to it? Those are some big issues that are happening to more and more of us. And, I'll actually share my story of, little old me having what I thought felt like a virtual stalker for a second. Thankfully, they weren't, I don't think. But it was very creepy because I'm very careful about not posting. I'm very careful when I post, especially when I'm away, just because that's just it's just weird. I am. That's how I am. Erica says she's been hacked. Yeah, it was nuts. Yeah. Yes, and real life ones too. Oh man, Chrissy. Oh, see, you guys, Chrissy's popular, and that's why we're all in the right circle here, because we're not stalkers. We're all good together, right? So we'll be your bodyguard, Chrissy. At least for online here, we'll help you out. So yeah, for me, there was actually one time where I don't think I've shared this story anywhere. Skype request, right, Vicky? Yeah. It's one of those things. Vicky's going to be a guest on the show for those who don't know. I'm so excited. And so she was making sure that she was connected with me on Skype, which is awesome. That's what we like. It happens when you do. Yeah, exactly. Right, Chrissy? It happens when you get visible. People get weird. People, there can be a very fine line between a stalker and somebody who's just really loves you and your content and is not trying to like be a stalker. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but there's a very fine line. It's probably a whole nother show topic that we can talk about. But it's one of those things where you have to be careful and you have to really watch things, and you don't have to have a ton of followers. You don't have to have a ton of money. You can just be average Joe, average Jane, like whatever, and still have your virtual stalkers. The incident that I had was actually, I think it was last year. I was away, which actually was a totally random trip. Nobody knew that I was gone for a couple days, because it literally happened like, you want to go? We're going tomorrow morning. Let's go. I'll be there tonight. And it was like, oh, okay, cool. And I didn't post anything where I was. And then I randomly got a message, and it just so happened that I got the message when I was in a certain location, and the message sounded like they were right behind me, and it was weird. I can't tell you like how creepy that was, because I was like, did I post something? Like, who is this? Because I didn't know. Like, you think about all these things and you're like, well, maybe I posted something and they're just trying to, be weird, or maybe, I'm just taking it out of context or whatever. And I'm looking around and I'm like, that's weird. And then I waited before I got back to my hotel to respond, because I was like, this is weird. Like, maybe I won't respond. Maybe I'll just see. And, and then I was looking them up and making sure. And then I asked them like some questions without being so direct, like are you a stalker, or are you right behind me or whatever? Like, I kind of like, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but I asked some questions, and it just turned out randomly that they had sent me that message at the right time when I was in this location. And it was just weird. It was just one of those moments that thankfully there was nothing to be worried about. It freaked me out a little bit, and thankfully nothing came from it. But you have to be aware, right? And you have to understand, and you have to think about that, which is why you have to remind yourself, because it's so easy. It's like calling someone or texting someone or Facebook messaging them. Even if you're close, like, you get in that habit of whoever initiated the conversation, whether I called you or I texted you, right? We'll go with texting because that's a little bit more relevant. If I texted you, chances are you're going to be texting me back. You're not going to go send me an email unless I asked you to, right? Or if I emailed you, you're not going to be texting me back because you're going to email me because it's just reply. Like, we get into those habits, right? It's the same thing with social media. We get in the habit of, it's fun, it's great, like, I want to be exposed out there, not like that, but I want to be out there in front of my audience. People want to see me and they want to do this, that, whatever. But you have to be aware that we are opening ourselves up. I mean, even with this show, like, you guys, we're international, we're live, anybody can see the show, it's up on YouTube, anybody can watch it later. They can be like, okay, this person looks like somebody we should stalk, or this is somebody that we should just mess around in the comments, or whatever. Like, that can happen to any one of us. And so it's not to scare you, it's not to hold you back from being you and to share what you have to offer. Not at all. Like, you need to still get out there. You need to show up, you need to deliver, and you need to engage. But you also have to be aware and just understand what's going on. Right, Mindy? That's everyone. I felt weird about Google tracking me before. Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing too. Like, it's so funny because real quick, my mom now uses, she'll buy things online a little bit. She doesn't like it. She didn't like having a credit card and all that stuff because, she didn't want to get hacked and stuff. And I was like, listen, you use an ATM card. That's more at risk than any credit card. At least with a credit card, you have some protection. ATM cards get ripped off left and right. And if somebody wanted to hack you, they're going to hack you because your info is already out there, whether or not you're shopping online. Like, all of our stuff is out there. So, you have to understand that part too. So it's not like you can just sit at home and be afraid and never go on any online website or any social media. Like, you have to live your life and you have to do what you're doing. But just be aware and just remind yourself, when those fun questions come up or whatever, like, remind yourself that maybe you don't want to give away your exact address or where you exactly grew up, expand your horizons a little bit, go out there a little bit more. So just think that. Mine got scary for a while, Chrissy. Oh, geez, hasn't stopped me. Good. It hasn't stopped you. That's awesome. Yeah. And it shouldn't, because we're all going to, it's just like having a bad review, right? It's the same thing. Don't close yourself off to having people leave you a review because you're afraid you're going to get that one bad review, right? I'm specifically talking about Facebook pages, but just in general. Turn that reviews tab on. Let people drop you reviews. Over the weekend, I got some amazing reviews from some of you guys that I didn't even expect. And it was like, oh, this is so awesome. Like, you get that little notification. You're like, wow, that's awesome. Like, my day is just made. And if I had that turned off, I wouldn't have had that. And I can't worry about those bad reviews, because any bad review that comes up, like, you're going to address it. And then your audience is also going to know. Like, they're going to know whether or not it was you, them, maybe a mix. I mean, we know when we see things. So just keep that in mind. Our card numbers have been stolen multiple times. Oh, Mindy, that's bad. Yeah, that's really hard. Yes, we can only protect ourselves so well. We can't control our banks or our doctors or schools or job handle or protect our personal info. So true, Erica. So true. The only thing we can do is just be more cautious about what we're posting, right? And how we post it. Wait till maybe after that event to post something when you're back home. Things like that. You can just do little things like that. So anyway, I hope that this was helpful, that helped with your content creation and kind of give you some ideas. If you don't have this feature yet, the to-do list on your Facebook personal profile yet, excuse me, no worries. It should be rolling out soon. At least you got to see some ideas there, and you can watch the replay to kind of see what topics are there if you just really want to dive in and start creating your own stuff. But at least it's there for you to get quick ideas that can help you when you're just having one of those days and you're just trying to figure out what to ask people, what to do. Again, that's on your personal profile, but you can use those ideas over on your business page. You can utilize those posts or create posts that will take those ideas to the next level. Of course, if you can, get some video in there, maybe a GIF image, maybe a photo at the very least, things like that to keep the post to a higher level so that Facebook will want to push it out to more people. So go jump over and see Mickey. She's going to have her Mickey Mondays with Mickey here in just a few minutes. And I'm just looking at Aaron's Respectful Connections comment. I often check in after the fact. Yes, easier when I'm at home, have Wi-Fi, and can choose to photo edit. Exactly, Aaron. That is a great point to leave on there because that is a big one. Perfect. All right, guys, have a great Monday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hopefully, we will have our connection correct and no issues, and I hope you guys have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. This episode is sponsored by Stupid Easy. Easily create, share, and sell your online courses. Discover more at stupideasy.com.